So today I bring you a quick head-to-head comparison between the Honor MagicWatch 2 46mm versus the smaller 42mm model. So let's begin with the physical differences. So side by side, 46mm model versus the 42mm model, they feel exactly the same build quality wise. So the 46mm model is 10.7mm thick and weighs 41 grams, whereas the 42mm model is slightly thinner at 9.4mm thin and weighs only 29 grams. Now the 46mm model actually has time markings going all the way around, and the smaller watch does not. Now both watch bodies are made from stainless steel, finished in black. Now both smartwatches also have two metal buttons on the side. The 46mm model has a red ring around the top of the power button, and the 42mm has the same buttons but no red ring, and the buttons are slightly smaller. You would also notice that the big watch has a speaker just under the buttons, and the smaller watch does not have any speaker built in. Now on the other side of both watches there is nothing. Both watches have identical heart rate sensors and charger pins. In fact, here are the chargers, and as you can see, they are exactly the same. So if you own both of these watches, you can use one charger to charge them both. Now let's talk about the wrist straps. Both come with very good quality silicone wrist straps. They are both easy to remove and actually different sizes. So the 46mm watch has a 22mm band, and the 42mm watch has a 20mm band. So you can remove and replace these with your own band should you wish to do so. So you have very comfortable straps made from a type of silicone, but they seem to have a coating which helps them dry up pretty quickly after a swim. So that was the physical differences. Now let's talk about the specs. Both watches have an AMOLED display. The 46mm is 1.39 inches with a screen resolution of 454 by 454, and the 42mm is 1.2 inches with a 390 by 390 screen resolution. Furthermore, both watches are powered by Huawei's new Kirin A1 chipset with the same 4 gigs of internal storage space with 2 gigs allocated for your music. Now both Magic watches operate and pair up to your smartphone via Bluetooth 5.1 and support both Android and iOS devices. Now neither of these Magic watches have built-in NFC, Wi-Fi or SIM card slots. And the main reason for not having Wi-Fi is because there is no app store included, so you cannot download any additional apps. Basically all the apps on this watch are offline apps, and none of them require any internet connection to operate. But some of them do require Bluetooth and GPS. For example, your local weather information is borrowed from your smartphone, and all of that data is synced up via Bluetooth. Now the battery life varies. The bigger watch has a 455 mAh battery which gives a good 14 days battery life, and the smaller 42mm model has a naturally smaller 215 mAh battery which gives a modest 7-day battery life, which is still pretty good. Now both watches are 5 ATM water resistant, so you can go swimming with them on. So the smartwatch is smart enough to detect the pool size and also count your laps, calories burnt, and including your heart rate, time, distance, etc. So that was the physical and specs compared. But realistically, which watch is better for you? Now this is how they both look on my wrist. And if you're wondering, my wrist size is 7 inches in diameter. And I personally don't mind either one. Now you can see how they look. The big one doesn't look too big and doesn't feel too big. It's actually relatively light. And the small one is definitely not too small. So I personally could go for either one. Now screen quality wise, they are both AMOLED displays. Screen brightness is equally good on both. In fact, they are the same. And we are set on level 4 brightness at the moment. Level 5 is the highest. So that's maximum brightness, and they look exactly the same to me. So even at lowest brightness, you can see everything on the display. But what would happen if you were outside? So here is an example of brightness level 2, and you can see everything on the screen. The watch is completely usable even at level 2. And maximum brightness at level 5 looks absolutely amazing. But you also have the option to switch to auto, so it will automatically adjust the brightness to suit your lighting situation. So you've got superb AMOLED displays on both smartwatches. Now let's talk about performance. You have the same specs, the same OS, which is the Huawei wearable platform, so the same great smooth performance from both smartwatches thanks to the Kirin A1 chipset. Now the Huawei wearable platform is great, it's very smooth in operation with no lag experienced throughout my tests, but the only drawback of this OS is it does not support third-party apps. There is no app store included in these watches. You can only use the existing apps, which I will quickly show you. Now these are all offline apps that do not require any internet connection. Now when you're actually doing a workout like running, cycling, jogging, it will use all of the smartwatch's internal sensors. So heart rate sensors will be active, so will the GPS, and it will track your speed, distance, calories, etc. And all of your health tracking can be synced via Bluetooth directly to your smartphone. Now these are predominantly fitness smartwatches, and taking that into consideration, you already have every app you need in order to track and improve your overall fitness. Now I thoroughly tested the battery life on both watches. You can get 7 days from the smaller watch and 14 days from the bigger watch depending on your usage. So in my experience with the 46mm model, based on jogging 3 times a week, answering 1 phone call every day directly on the watch with the call lasting no longer than a minute and all notifications switched on, the battery lasted me 8 days, not 14. Now you have to understand that every time you go jogging or you do a workout, you activate all of the watch sensors, which include the dual GPS, the constant heart rate tracking, along with all your notifications switched on. So the battery lasted me 8 days instead of 14. And had I had answered less phone calls, it would have lasted me much longer. And on the smaller 42mm MagicWatch, I actually managed the 7-day battery life. Now the smaller watch has a slightly lower screen resolution with no built-in speaker or microphone, so you cannot take phone calls on this watch, which means more battery life. So just jogging a few times a week and all my notifications on, I actually got the full 7-day battery life. So it's good to know that you do have a great overall battery life on both watches. And if we talk about charging, it takes around 70 minutes to get from 0 to 100%. And it's nice to know that you will not need that charger again for at least another 7 days. Now let's talk about pricing. The MagicWatch 46mm comes in at £149 and the smaller MagicWatch 42mm is priced £129. So there you have it guys, that was my comparison between the two very popular Magic Watches by Honor. Bottom line, both Magic Watches are simply amazing. The only drawback from the smaller watch is no speaker or mic built in, which means you cannot take phone calls or listen to music directly on the watch. However, there is a solution. Connect your favorite Bluetooth wireless earbuds or earphones and you'll be able to listen to music and answer the phone calls from your watch, and it will play back on your Bluetooth headset. Now the larger watch brings a slightly more elegant look. It has a larger screen, time markings, bigger battery, built-in speaker and microphone, and the price difference is only £20, so it really comes down to the size of your wrist. So if your wrist is around 7 inches or more, I would recommend you go for the bigger watch. Under 7-inch wrist and the watch may look like a clock on your wrist, so in that scenario you may want to consider the smaller MagicWatch 2. Either way, both Magic Watches are great to track your fitness and monitor your fitness levels, including your sleep cycles. The smartwatch has the ability to improve your health as it pushes you to do more and get motivated when it shows you how well you have done. Yes, I understand there is a limitation for non-fitness features, but for what it actually is, you are certainly getting your money's worth. Now the MagicWatch 2 is one of the top designed smartwatches we have seen in recent times, and for that reason my eyes are glued on what Honor do next in the smartwatch world. And with that being said, I will certainly leave the links in the description so you guys can check either of these watches out. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a brilliant day. I'll see you guys in the next one.